Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another video. It is the new year, and let's get to it. It's the first video I made in the new year, and we got some more Bannerlord information. So we have a lot of different threads, a lot of different answers. We're just going to put it all into one video and see if we can get any new good info out of it. All the links will be down below for all the threads that are mentioned if you guys want to go check it out below. But let's get right to it. So first one, we have a player. This is on, what's it called? This one right here. Party wages are too high. Okay. So we have a player asking, except for there is nothing better about a castle over a town. If it is more military focused, as you say. Okay. So I'm guessing, yeah, that makes sense. Castles should be kind of more military focused than a town, which is more economy focused. Then its village should provide better troops, whether higher tier or more noble troops than the town. But even a town has more recruits available than the castle, because the castle itself does not have any notables, where most towns have 4. My suggestion is to add a new building buildable only at castles that increases the quality of recruits at the attached village or something similar. Give me a reason to want to own a castle over a town, because currently there is none. True. There should be pros and cons to each type of fief, not castle because of the not castle just being the inferior fief as it currently is the case. True. Very good point actually. So Dev responds, yes, this is one of the weakest points of Bannerlord's design. Castle should provide owner, clan, and kingdom more military advantage. I was already thinking about solutions to this, or solutions of this. Interesting. I don't know exactly what solutions there will be. Obviously, the player mentioned more high quality troops. I don't know if that's the best solution. Maybe like a more fortified, because obviously castles are supposed to be like big fortifications. You know what I mean? Like stuff that's kind of hard to obviously get into. Maybe if we saw like more, if it being more guarded, the walls might be even stronger. That could be a good one where the walls are stronger. It takes a lot longer to siege. Um, you could do, like how castles and towns they randomly have like those fire bombs just in piles randomly on the walls. You can have more of those in castles and stuff like that. Just make it harder. So make it harder to actually get into a castle and stuff of that nature. But it does make sense because right now castles really are just a lower version of towns. You can't really do much at a castle. It just provides you some sort of income, and most of the time your garrison takes up most of that income, so it's not even worth it. So interesting perspective, but it's good to see that they are thinking about this. So we might see some things in the future about it. Next we have is on what's it called, the snowballing big what's it called, thread that we've been going over for a long time now. We have like 4 or 5 videos on the channel on it, and we have a couple of replies from the devs, so let's check it out. So player asks, do you need more tests runs for 1.5.6? And it would be helpful if we started doing test runs with the cav bonus cut down to 40% or 50%. So what they're talking about right here, if you don't know, pretty much the main developer who posted this thread, and other players are running tests for like 20 or 30 years of in-game time without any player interaction to see how snowballing works. And if you don't know what snowballing is, it's pretty much when 1 or 2 kingdoms takes over the whole map and all other kingdoms get destroyed. With 1.5.6, it's almost gone. It's like very close to almost gone, where almost all kingdoms after 20, 30 years in game time are still alive, still doing good, and still pretty close, right? You still have your top guy and your bottom guy, but at the same time, they're very close in terms of how much settlements they have than before, where, the top 2 would have like 40 settlements each, and the bottom would have none. Alrighty, Dev responds, it's good having more samples. I think currently we have about 8 samples from 1.5.6 with average snowball score between 60 and 65. And if you guys didn't know what snowball score is, so the lower, the better, right? I'm pretty sure if it goes over 100, it's really bad. And the way that it's calculated, there's a lot of calculations. Like, if in the end of 30 in-game years, let's say 2 kingdoms go out, that's plus 40 points, 20 for each kingdom that went out. And then like there's different calculations and all that stuff. He has like a formula for it. I don't remember off the top of my head, but the lower the number, the better. And I'm pretty sure he's looking within this range, if I'm not mistaken. I will make a table from all at weekend or Monday to see the peak and min numbers for each faction. Cool. So we're gonna get another drop of like cool graphs to check out. We'll make a video on it. Then we will wait until 1.5.7. Probably will have about 10 to 20 days to it. Okay, so a little bit quicker. We're going to get it this month to see how much it will be improved. Cool. Now another player asks, are other kingdoms getting as big as Khazaits in 1.5.7? For example, Vlandia or Britannia, just one of them per campaign, usually get as big as Khazaits in 1.5.6, but not sure if it is still happening in 1.5.7. If it is still the case, instead of giving specific nerfs to Khazaits, would be great if you can add something. If you can add something to penalize all kingdoms getting too big. Before he answers, I think they did talk about an alliance process where if kingdoms get too big, 2 smaller kingdoms would kind of like join together in an alliance to take down the bigger kingdom. Obviously, alliances aren't here yet, but they are in the works. So I think eventually we will be having that kind of a solution for it. But let's see what the devs have to say. So in table, we will see answers of all of these. But what I see sometimes, Britannians dominate 25% of the world, with Khazaits 25%. And sometimes Vlandians dominate 25% of the world, with Khazaits 25%. And sometimes Western Empire, such as Azerai, dominates. So it's just random, right? And remaining 50% is shared between 6 factions. Okay, so what he says is pretty much over time in 1.5.7 and in 1.5.6, what you see a lot of the times is 2 of the factions have about 50% control, but it's always Khazait with somebody else. And then the rest, the 6 other ones, usually have the other 50%. Now, is that good? Is that bad? I don't think that's that bad. Obviously, you still need the people at the top. You still need obviously the powerhouses. So I don't think it's that bad of a split. It used to be a lot worse. It used to be Khazaits like 60% by themselves, so it's getting better. But what else they say? So means Khazaits nearly always are one of the 2 biggest factions. True, other faction changes. So there is no problem at others, or even we need a blocking factor for powerful factions. We first need to solve Khazait problem. Then we can think about how to block dominating factions. Okay, so probably blocking powerful factions at this point will be a minor problem after Khazait OP problem is solved, because having a dynamic world is good. We do not need to stop factions at 15, 20, or 25%. That is true too. I want to still see factions actually rise up and do really good, I don't want all games to just always even out. That wouldn't be fun to play as well, in my opinion. I think I want to see those. I want to see those times where a faction does roll through everybody. I think that would be cool as well. I don't want it to happen every game, but some games would be cool. Let's see. Where is it? Important thing is not the same faction should dominate all the time, and one faction should not dominate 40% of the world without player interaction in late game. Interesting. So that's kind of the cutoff, kind of like about 40 plus %. Okay. This is already the case currently. Even Khazaits cannot take half of the world without player interaction at 1.5.6, which is very good. There you go. Even 30, 40, or 50 years past. Very good. So in my opinion, currently only problem is Khazait's OP. I'm pretty sure he's talking about the bonus that they have. Obviously the speed bonus and plus the cavalry speed bonus, which makes them super fast. Which also make Southern Empire and Northern Empire weaker. With 1.5.6 fixes problems mostly solved except the Khazait's bonus. And other factions resist better to Khazait at 1.5.6 compared to previous versions. Makes sense. So obviously, in terms of the changes that the dev was thinking about that we did go over in the previous video, was he wanted the Khazaits he wanted the overall cavalry bonus to go. I'm pretty sure it was 60%, and he wants to bring it down to either 50 or 40%. Pretty much how much faster they go compared to infantry. And then also, I'm pretty sure in 1.5.7, if I'm not mistaken, we're going to get the different bonuses, or that might be in the next patch. One or the other. The different culture bonuses, where they're pretty much going to be reworked. And I think the Khazaits are going to have a little rework for their very overpowered bonus as well, which is what, the 10% throughout the whole map or something like that. Very, very, very unbalanced. But hopefully they don't just make that one. Okay, so here's my thing. I really hope they don't just make that one very, very bad, so then all of them are very bad. I hope they just buff up all the other bonuses and just make it so, you can really choose and pick which kind of overpowered bonus you want to have, right? Or kind of strong. I don't want to say overpowered, but kind of strong bonus you want to have by picking the different cultures. And then we got 2 more tests over here. It says thank you for the tests. Okay. Alrighty, I got a big post right over here. So this is still on that same thread, which is about the snowballing, right? So I read all the comments. This is the dev speaking. I read all the comments. Sorry for the late response. I was working on these 4 changes. I will try to add these in 1.5.7. There you go. We got some, new changes, kind of like a look into it. Okay, so first, we have some policies are so unbalanced. Thanks for noticing. OP of policy Khazaits have as default. Effects of policy grazing rights will be changed to +5 loyalty and -0.25 Hearth. And it was initially +1 loyalty, +1 militia. Ooh. Here's the thing. Here's my kind of experience with policies. When the game first came out, I was very excited on policies. I was probably the only... I don't want to be like that guy, but I was the only person who was making videos talking about which ones are the best policies and stuff like that. You can check that out on my channel when the game came out. Because I really liked the policy system. I liked that, there's some very good ones, some very bad ones, and some very situational ones. I thought that was very cool. But as time went on, we just seen policies get hammered down all the time, just nerfed. And it's kind of sad to see, and they don't really hold as much value as they used to. Yes, they're still good to get. Obviously, you still want to get a good amount of them. Don't get me wrong, but it's just they've just all went kind of down, in my opinion, and kind of became very, very basic. Obviously +1/+1 changed to +0.5 and -0.25. It's a very hard nerf, and obviously it might change how powerful the Khazaits are, which is great, but at the same time, the policies are starting to seem very, very minimum in my they have very minimum impact, which I don't know. It might be a good thing, it might be a bad thing. I don't like it personally. All right, number 2, we got wounded troop ratio is high, as several of you noticed. Okay, I think 2, this damages game's balance. So this is a person on the forums. Did not want this change, but other people did want this change. Okay. I am not the real owner of these codes, and previously, because of the same reason, I reduced the ratio. Okay, but after comments, I checked the numbers, and this ratio is still high, as you noticed. Okay, so the wounded troop ratio is very, very high. Okay, I will reduce survival chance a bit more. Ooh, okay. Interesting. So a lot more of your troops are gonna die now instead of becoming wounded. Ooh, that's gonna be big. Okay. You can see my count where which I added previously in previous reduced. Whoa, I don't know what the heck. So I made a comment before. Okay. Also, as you see at method, if troop took its last hit by a blunt weapon, he is 100% wounded. I think it is too high, but I did not want to change it for now. Only reduce survival chance when hit by other 2 damage types. You can see changed part marked as 2. Add image. I reduced from 0.02 to Wait, from 0.03 to 0.02. So there will be a bit less survival change. Okay, so it's very minuscule, like super minuscule. So if you get hit something with something that's not blunt, usually they go down. And obviously he didn't want to change. So blunt weapons are still 100% will get the troops wounded. Do I agree with this? No. I think that regardless, even if it's a blunt weapon, obviously for game's sake, it does make sense if you want to just gather prisoners. Okay, so be it. But in real world terms, if you get hit with something that's blunt, you won't just become wounded all the time, if that kind of makes sense. You know what I mean? Yes, it should probably have a very high chance of wounding an enemy, but there should still be a small chance to, take out the enemy, if that kind of makes sense. But I don't mind it staying at 100% in my opinion, but it looks like he might change it in the future. But in terms of this, it probably won't seem like a very huge change. I don't think it's a very huge change because it's a very small percent pretty much move over, you know what I mean? Or reduction, right? So a little bit more troops are going to die now instead of before, but not by a huge margin. Okay. All right, so here we go. We got a little calculation. So survival change of level 26 troop was okay. Okay, so now he kind of tells you the percent. He has those little calculations. I'm not going to read out the whole calculation. It's going to take too long. But, so before the change, a level 26 troop, what's it called? Okay, no, it's kind of dramatic. Okay. Just whenever he said the 0.03 to 0.02, it didn't sound dramatic, but it's kind of dramatic. So a level 26 troop before would survive 44% of the time, now will survive 34% of the time. Level 16 troops survived about 33% of the time, and now will survive 25% of the time. And if you didn't know, this is from the other two damage types, not blunt weapons, the other two. So went down. So level 16 went down from 33 to 25%, and the level 6 troop went down from 15% to 11%. Interesting. Okay. These are the lowest values. You can increase these chances with perks and skills. Do not forget, still all troops are wounded if they took their last hit by blunt weapons, and 25% of troops take their last hit by blunt weapons. So they 25% directly. Wait. So 25% directly will be wounded. Currently, in my opinion, overall wounded ratio will be reduced from 34%. Okay, so he states that overall, what's it called? We'll see like about a 6% reduction of how much troops of yours survive after a battle. Interesting. We'll see how it plays. Okay. And I think we have some code over here. Okay, so what is this? Let me put this over here. So yes, he has some questions. Do we really want blown weapons 100% make wounded? 25% of kills are with blown weapons, so 25% will be wounded directly. I think, here's my opinion of it. Make it like something like 90%. Give it that 10% window. You know what I mean? Don't make it like 50-50. That's a little bit too harsh. Maybe 90%, 95%, around there. And then right over here, in this part of the code, I decreased the constant from 0.03. Okay, from 0.05. Wait a minute, what? Decreases constant to 0.03 from 0.05. Otherwise, there happens too much. Okay, so this is the change that obviously he was talking about, and obviously you still have perk effects that can change this number, the survival change. Okay. Alrighty, number 3. Preliminary phase will be 30% now at sieges, will be 30% longer now at sieges, so there will be a bit less successful sieges. It increases probability of defenders to reach a sieged settlement. So I'm guessing preliminary phase is either the setup. I don't think it's the setup bar. It's like the bar that obviously whenever you press that you're gonna siege, you have like that bar that loads up. It's pretty much you building your siege camp. I don't know if that's part of the phase or if that's just the phase itself, But then obviously it might be actually that might exactly be what this is. It will be 30% longer now, so you will have a bigger chance to, or a bigger, yeah, you'll have a larger window of opportunity to get back to your fief to defend it, or for AI to get back to their fief and defend it. Very cool. And then fourth, Hearth values of several Khazate villages will be reduced. I think its effect will be so minor because they become so rich easily because of their speed advantage. They're a decider at meetings at map. They can catch weak enemies, and they can run away from stronger ones. They sell, gain loot. They plunder money of caught enemy lords. Most of their income come from loot / plundered money and capturing enemy settlements and having more settlements and tribute payments because they are strong. Yeah, speed is a big thing. You know, speed is a very big thing. They could do a lot of stuff a lot faster, and you know, if you go over the long term, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'm not pretty sure, but like what a normal kingdom would probably, without the speed bonuses, all the speed bonuses they have, a normal kingdom after like 20 years would probably, whatever a normal kingdom would accomplish in 20 years, I'm pretty sure the Khazates probably accomplished in like 13 to 15 years. You know, they're a lot faster. And that, while it might seem like a small increase in, what's it called, their speed, over time it does really, really add up. Alrighty, so I kind of agree with this. That's fine. And by the way, Hearth values, if you didn't know, that's kind of like how fast the village grows. The better the Hearth value, the more villagers will usually come out of it whenever they take their trips to the towns. Usually, the better prosperity your connected town or castle will have, and stuff of that nature. Alrighty, for ones who will ask, for ones who will ask, will this fix Khazates? No. The answer is no. It will only help others to cope with the Khazates a bit more. We still need a big negative faction bonus for Khazates, because as mentioned previously, their small speed advantage, which comes from their high cavalry ratio, affects balance of the game so much. However, things are becoming better with other factions in each patch. Interesting. Okay. Then player states AI needs horses to upgrade. That's kind of a suggestion. Someone has mentioned this before, and it was not accepted. And as you can see right here, the dev responds, I suggested adding this 2 months ago, but it was rejected. It works and risks. It works and risks are a bit much more compared to other solutions still. In my opinion, the benefits could be more, and we could get rid of one AI cheat. Okay. However, here problem is Khazates are the richest faction because of several reasons mentioned at previous posts, and they can buy more horses compared to others. So even if we add this would probably not be enough. Still, I am on the side of getting rid of this AI cheat. Okay, so if you guys didn't know, the AI has a lot of different cheats. They can recruit more people from villages for more slots that they might not even have open, but they just have a cheat to pretty much open them up. They also share money between each other, so they don't really become poor. That's a new one that was added in 1.5.6. And this is yet another one. Whenever they're upgrading units, if the unit requires a horse, they do not require a horse. That's only for the player. And so obviously, if they added this would be good. But at the same time, what the dev is saying here is, since the Khazates are still pretty much the richest, they're going to get most of the horses, and the other kingdoms will not, and therefore they're still going to have the most horses. They're still going to have that. They'll have less, but in terms of like throughout the world, they're still going to have the bigger percent as they do right now. So if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, that's going to do it for me. I'm going to make a part 2. I have a lot more of these posts to look over and talk about. The video is getting a little bit longer, so I'm going to end it off here. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. Ask me any questions, any concerns, and like always, stay safe.